In the face of various security challenges in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari has recently ordered the recruitment of 6,000 police constables into the force.
Absolutely. Now, President Buhari also directed that those recruited must come from all the local government areas of the Federation. A total of 133,000 persons applied to join the Nigeria Police Force, but only 6,000 will be taken in line with the President's directive.
Although the number falls short of the requirement for effective policing, the police believe it is a good start towards mitigating the shortfall of personnel in the force. Well, with us in the studio is a social commentator, Dapo Daramola. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Yes. Okay, so are we making any progress with this planned recruitment of 6,000 to the present 300,000 or so? Which is still very, very dismal compared to the population.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, for me, I would rather say that 6,000 is, I mean, it's like a drop in the ocean. And that's not the way to go. It's not the direction we ought to be headed. Because I remember last year, the current Inspector General of Police mentioned that, that is Idris, told everybody that we need to recruit 31,000 police officers in the next 5 years. And that will come to about 155,000 police officers in addition to what we have. In addition to about 371 that we have. And that will move us to about one police officer to about, say, 400-500 people within the citizenry. So this is not, we shouldn't even be talking about this kind of figure. I know that, the worry may be in terms of remuneration, in terms of salaries, and all of that. But we know that we are in deficit already. We have a serious shortfall. And that is why the security in the country will keep going in the direction it is, because we don't have enough manpower. It's like a job that you need 10 people to do, and you have only 2 or 3 men doing that job. It can't be efficient. Okay, it can't be effective.
Shouldn't the focus first of be on a total overhaul of the police system because of, the image of the police, which has been tagged not just locally but internationally as a corrupt system, as not functional, so many, adjectives to describe the police force. But then, if you do not cleanse a system and you bring new people into it,
you just join the bandwagon.
What do you achieve?
For me, in my years of reporting, I think the Nigerian police has always done fantastically well when they go for international, operations. So I don't have a problem. I think it is the system. It's just a function of who we are, as Nigerians. Every time you send our military, you send our police, you send our Navy, you send our Air Force on international assignments, they come back with, very serious, commendations. It is when they are in this system that it seems, the insanity that has pervaded the system seems to, rub off on everybody. It's like an average, Nigerian driver. As we are seated right now, when we are driving abroad, we follow instructions, we follow rules. But when you are driving in Nigeria, it's a different setting entirely. So I don't think it's a function of this, the individual. It's a function of the fact that, one, there's so much bitterness. If you do a research, which I've been involved in, you discover that the police, a lot of them are bitter because of their welfare. If you are supposedly supposed to lay down your life for your own country, and your country has not done enough to support you, there's no way you are happy defending that kind of country. That's why sometimes when they arrest people or they challenge you on the road, every policeman thinks you want to prove to him that he's a nobody.
So which goes back to the question, the fundamental question of, pouring new wine into old bottles, more or less.
I think what we need to change.
If you have a system that is faulty fundamentally, ill-equipped, ill-motivated, about the most corrupt according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. And all of that, why add 6,000 more men to meet the same rot? How much improvement do you expect in any way?
I mean, the first thing we need to address is the shortfall.
Yes.
You see, we can address in terms of training, in terms of, preparing them for bigger challenges, or even psyching them up in terms of psychological evaluation and upgrade. These are things that can be done. What do we need to do?
You can do it pari passu.
Pari passu, side by side.
Okay, let's even leave that, because, I mean, that's belaboring the point. Now, the real issue here, again, is the process of recruitment of this additional 6,000 to the Nigeria Police Force. It seems to be putting the PSC chairman, Michael Kiro, on one side, pitching him on one side against the IG, Ibrahim Idris. According to the PSC, Ibrahim Idris did not have any recourse to the PSC, which is statutorily empowered to recruit, train, and discipline the police force.
Well, I think the problem we have here is looking at the entry level. I think the entry level is where the problem lies. For me, the PSC has certain, functions, oversight functions, and even, direct employment of certain cadre of officers, in the police force. The people in question are not at that level. The people in question,
constables.
So, overall, you look at it, I don't think there's any major issue here. The IGP is not going to promote, I mean, the Inspector General of Police can promote certain level of officers without recourse to the Police Service Commission. It's allowed. So, sometimes ego is always the issue in Nigeria. What we want to address is a shortfall. Now, how they come in, it shouldn't be a major issue, because nobody is actually, there's no way the Inspector General of Police will want to erode, the functions or the powers or the authority of the PSC. I mean, so it is just a function of ego sometimes. Everybody, wants to be seen to be in charge.
All right, but you're not supposed to first of all follow due process, because that is why you have laws and you have, binding rules. But that aside, I quickly did a mental, calculation of the 6,000 people to be recruited. And if you divide that by 36, states in Nigeria, you get about 166 police officers per state. So will that address the shortfall? Really?
No, it can't. That's why I said the UN Convention or the UN principle says that, for you to have effective policing, it should be one police officer to about 400 people.
400, yeah.
But what we have today is, in Nigeria, is about one police officer to about 600 to 700 based on our population. And that's even being conservative.
Because millions of people per state.
As we speak, our population keeps fluctuating. Even the president still told us we're just above 200 million, and that also will change.
I mean, here 198 million.
Exactly. So what, as we speak today, the problem we have, and I think we have to go back to what the Inspector General of Police said in 2017, that what we need to do is to recruit 31,000 officers within the next 5 years. So, and I think because we have about 371,000 police officers as of today, so which means it is not effective. So the first thing we need to address is we have to, and you see, sometimes you expect the National Assembly, instead of summoning the IGP at almost every given opportunity to come and address issues like how Dino Malaye was attended to and all that. These are the issues you expect the National Assembly talking about, protection and security of lives, and property.
Well, it's part of the reason they are summoning the IG to talk about the security challenges.
The primary reason why they are bringing the IG is to come and explain to them why they should put Dino Malaye on stretcher, and the way a distinguished senator, was kind of ridiculed. That is the primary reason, and that's why the man has been able to remind them that you don't have the right to invite me on such matters. You see, when you don't ridicule institutions, law enforcement is not just a bodyguard. Law enforcement, how many times do you see?
But the National Assembly is also an institution that should be regarded with
and should do things within the purview of the law and common sense.
And does the National Assembly, which is the legislature, another arm of government, doesn't it have the power to summon just an abstract,
on issues
an appendage
that
of the executive?
On institutions? What they have done is a man is being.
Okay, Dino Malaye's issue aside, what about the invasion?
Charges.
What about the invasion of the National Assembly, the Senate?
That was not the reason. That's what we are saying, that if the reason why he's being invited is to say the invasion of the National Assembly, and he's not able to come and address the Senate, the House of Rep, there must be a committee within that establishment that is involved in the issue of security and all that, that should first, speak to the man, not telling him to come and stand before them and come and address them on issues that bother individuals.
Let's come back to the issue at hand, which is the recruitment of 6,000 more police officers at the constable level. You talk about this number not being enough, but really, is it ever really enough?
No, definitely not.
Would you have loved to see a situation or hear that government is earmarking a certain huge amount? I mean, we heard the IG of police, I think it was sometime last year, when he said that the Nigeria police actually needs trillions.
1.1
about 1 point something trillion
naira.
Yeah,
to run the police.
To run the police, to turn it around, in terms of recruitment, of course, training, acquisition of technology and all of that, that would actually help police do policing. But we're not hearing that. I mean, you have 6,000 more men without the other aspects that need to be in place.
Yes.
But what I do not know, as we speak now, is if the $1 billion has been asked for by the president, will be inclusive of police. Because what that fund is supposed to do is to improve on the security architecture of the country. That is the umbrella. That is this theme. Now, you cannot have some themes, and the police will be part of it. I expect that to be part of it. Because there's no way the military can do a yeoman's job without the support of the police. That is a fact. And so you cannot have a deficient police as we have it today, and you expect civil issues to be attended to, you expect security issues to be attended to at the level at which we are expecting it. As we speak today, how much role is technology playing in security in Nigeria? Where is the satellite imaging? Where are the CCTV cameras?
Where are the CCTV cameras?
And we all remember what happened. This issue would have been, in Abuja and in Lagos. But for some reasons, some, so to say, mysterious reasons, that idea was jettisoned. And today, what are we relying upon? So, for me, I think, and technology is not cheap. Countries like the US, UK, Germany, major countries.
That's why images of those that invaded the National Assembly did not crop up online.
That part of it. I mean, can you imagine that people can walk into the, I mean, by now, that matter should have been arrested. By now, the guys who, were found culpable must have been charged. How did they enter into the Senate? Why are we prevaricating on investigating the matter? Why is the Senate themselves, why have they not presented a report? At least their own internal report on what happened. Why are they prevaricating? Are they waiting for the president to come back to inform the president? When the whole world, wherever the president was, he was aware of what happened.
That meeting between the Senate President Dogara and the president seems to have provided some kind of platform for the president to even say anything about the Omar Gege incident, which he said he was totally embarrassed by. But let's come back to the issue of these recruits. Lagos State, for example, had about the lowest in terms of show of interest in joining the police. What does that really indicate for you? Well, for a state like Lagos, I mean, with over 20 million population.
I think to a large extent, like she said, the number is even too small to begin to consider, which state has shown interest or not. Because if 166 people out of about 20 million people, I mean, and people already know that if you're looking for 6,000 out of a minimum of about, let's say, 15 million people, what is that? So some people already are disenchanted. When you hear the figure, 6,000, you ask yourself, why would I bother to try? And, but we must give kudos to the government of Lagos. I think starting with Fashola, administration, the Lagos State Security Trust Fund, the attempt was made at the federal level. I remember Kenny Martins was part of it, but it was bungled.
Of course, there was an issue with that.
But they've replicated that at the state level, and I want to confess that it has really yielded result to a large extent, supporting the police, funding the police, equipping the police. Lagos State has shown example that if you could do a lot more for the police, policing in Nigeria, the challenges can be reduced. And I think that's what the federal government should be looking at.
Yeah, we have to end it here. And it was even part of the discussion that the IGP had last year when he was talking about the amount needed to run the police, the Police Reform Trust Fund. Thank you very much, Dr. Daramola, for talking to us on the show.